Dash?
Okay, so Gamescom, opening night live's come and gone. There's been, of course, a lot of hands-on impressions today, but not as many as I would have hoped for. And we'll get into the details as to why. There's reasons behind this that I've found out. But first, let's kind of dive into the one game that people haven't been able to stop talking about for a very long time. That's Silk Song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, Nate, you mentioned this is the same demo you played in 2019 at
That's
PAX
crazy.
East, right?
No, it was at E3. They had this
E3.
demo at E3 and Gamescom that year.
Insane. So that is very interesting to note. They must have been really hard at work on that game for them to not drop a new demo here in 2025. A couple good things to note. Handheld mode, it's running. They're saying is running at 120 frames per second.
Hell yeah!
Which I don't know if anyone was expecting that. You know, it's one thing I think for Mina the Hollower to run at 120 frames, which is very cool. But for this, Nate, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think we should have expected it because the original game ran 120 on every other system but Switch. But Switch couldn't do 120. So
Yeah.
I think we probably should have expected it. We just weren't thinking about it because we're just not used to thinking 120 and Nintendo anything, you know?
Yeah, but it's pretty cool, right? This would be, I guess, between that Mina Metroid, of course, when that comes out 120.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of nice to get a few games that are going to be able to perform at 120 frames per second. It's been said, right, that it would be available day one with the Xbox ROG Ally, right? That's releasing October 16th. We're supposed to find out tomorrow, most likely, right, what the actual release date's going to be.
You'd assume.
Right.
You'd assume.
They've called a meeting. Everyone is ready to attend. I know we're all going to be, watching the news on that one unfold.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts, I guess, to start off on Silk Song being the same demo. Does that give you, I guess, any concern? And what do you think about as far as the release date is concerned? Let me hear from Action Jack first.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird to have the same demo. Now, granted, if it was just going from one show to the next within the same year, that's understandable. But we're talking about years since we've seen or heard anything from this game other than just promises of, hey, it's coming this year. It's coming this year. Rumor is it's coming this year. So I'm just more inclined to see if it actually does release on October 16th. But it is interesting that they chose to only showcase this demo, which I heard myself watching other channels. But other than that, as long as it releases and as long as the game is polished at this point, I think Team Cherry has quite a long time to get this game ready to go. But I'm also interested to see if we do get that release date on the 16th. For the 16th, is that also the same date as the Switch 2? Or if they plan to do like a later release, because I think we saw that today with what game was that just got a release date, and they were mentioning that the Nintendo Switch 2 and Switch version was coming later. I'm forgetting the game right now, but hopefully it's just day and date. But ultimately, I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to try the game. It's been a while since I played Hollow Knight, so I'm just looking for the game to release, and hopefully it's something solid and fun.
I think you're talking about the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
That was the one. Yeah, today, because I saw that there was a I think it was a demo. I know it was for free on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
And then I saw below that, Switch 2, they're gonna get later. No date, unfortunately.
Yep. So hopefully this is day and date. This will breed well for both the Xbox Ally and Ally X along with the Switch, so it gets into that handheld territory. It will be a great showcase game for that device in itself, and then also just yet another great game for the Switch 2. I'm a big fan of platformers, So this will be a great game to get into. Just hopefully is priced well and it does actually release.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what the price is. One thing I'll mention too is, during the show, I'm sure Jeff really wanted to have the release date, of course.
Yeah.
He did get to mention that it is coming out in 2025. So we do know that much, which we only have a few months left in the year. So it'll be here before we know it, thankfully. And then there's supposed to be a report from Jason Schreier as to why it took this long and kind of break down all the details on it, which I think should be pretty interesting as well. I just want to throw that out there for everyone else who's interested. That should probably be a good read. All right. Kiwi Talks, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's hard to say without actually playing the game, but from what it sounds like and from what I've read is it's like Hollow Knight 2.0. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to the individual. But my concern is that this doesn't live up to the expectations because people have been waiting so long and Team Cherry end up getting abused for it. Even if it's great, there'll be people that'll be like, why did we have to wait this long? Or they'll just rank it lower, or it'll get lower ranked reviews on Metacritic because of the wait.
We just talked about this.
We just talked about this
a week or two ago with this and with Metroid Prime 4, because it's been so long and people might give it a lower review because they're just bitter because it's taken so long, which people like that shouldn't be reviewing games.
Correct.
You must leave your emotion out.
But people put their emotions into their review, you see? Like people have their own biases, preconceived ideas of what something should be. Like I even saw with Donkey Kong Bonanza in the review, people were like giving it lower marks because it wasn't like Odyssey.
It's absolutely silly. And I want to let you finish your thoughts, Kiwi, but I'm glad you mentioned that because I've been worried about that for a while. I mean, this game's been, in development for so long now. And I asked myself, how are people going to, I was asking this 2 years ago. It's an indie game. How is it going to live up to people's expectations given we've been waiting so long? And, Hollow Knight's fantastic. I don't know that I necessarily would look at it oh my gosh, this is one of the greatest games I've played in the last decade. So I feel like there's an expectation for this game that exceeds where it even should be. I'm reminded of Hellblade 2. And, a lot of that's Microsoft's fault where they propped that game up to be. The first one obviously was a fantastic and unique experience. And the second game was propped up to be this even greater, unbelievable next-gen experience. And it should have never been propped up that big. And I do worry that people are going to expect way more than this game can deliver. I think all we need is Hollow Knight 2.0 because Hollow Knight's a great game. That's all we need.
Yeah.
More of the same with improvements along the way.
And I think there's only 3 devs and they've just been taking their sweet time.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but unfortunately the internet is not very good when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, they're not.
Yeah. I've been wanting to interview them for quite a while, so I'm hoping once Silk Song comes out I can actually speak to them and then do a bit of a deep dive on it, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, my only concern is that they get abused just because of how much time it's taken. But I'm sure it'll be great regardless.
Awesome. Andres, let's hear your thoughts, man.
Hated it. I don't really have much thoughts on it, to be honest with you. I'll play it when it comes out.
Do you think we'll get that October 16th date? It doesn't even matter to you because we know it's coming out in 2025. I mean, October 16th is the day we get Pokemon as well.
That's right.
I know. I'm like, really? You want to release it on that day? Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The games are going to come out. Games are going to come out. Not everyone's going to play Pokemon.
No.
So
it's true.
As long as big Nintendo releases are on the same, they're different companies.
Yeah.
And it's
Different
multiplayer
games.
as well. So
it's Metroidvania.
Yeah, exactly. Other people are gonna play it. Yeah.
I
I'm
think
sorry. I just don't have much opinions on this.
I have plenty. This game's going to do great. For starters, I played it back in 2019, so I already know like how good it was back then. But like, I'm glad the content that I played back then is still relevant. That was not one nice thing about the demo being the same is they didn't cut it. That's like real content from the game. I think the reason the demo is probably the same is just this is the beginning of the game, and they don't really want to show more than that unless you buy it. And tomorrow we're going to get the release date most likely. That's probably what that special event they're doing on their YouTube channel is. So even like our audio listeners and stuff, you'll probably already know the release date before you even listen to this podcast.
Probably.
But one thing that's important to know, like, yeah, this game took forever to get made. As Demar Brawler mentions, it's only 3 people. They didn't expand their team after the original game. It's the same 3 people that made the first game. So,
and they've got Scrooge McDuck money, so they can take their sweet time,
Yeah, well, the first one did really well. So, yeah, they're probably doing okay money-wise, so they can take their time. But you got to remember, like, that was back in 2019. That was before COVID. If anyone on that team got hit with COVID or had family members hit with COVID, it would make development drop to a crawl.
Yeah.
Because that's 33% of your development just gone. Like, no game is going to suddenly come out smooth. And the thing is, I don't know how they make the game. Each one of them is probably pivotal for certain aspects of the game that if they're gone, you can't make progress on certain things. So, again, we don't know. And I don't know if they're ever going to tell us in an interview, what happened and why it took so long. Because I know that's going to be a question asked of them eventually. Is like, why did this take so long, especially compared to the first game?
Well, that's the interview that's coming out. Jason Schreier.
Yeah.
That's what he says he's going to answer.
Yeah.
It's coming out tomorrow.
It's because we
answer it.
I know why it took so long.
They can literally just say, we're not going to answer that question.
I don't think COVID played as much as a part, though, because in South Australia, Adelaide, where they're based, I don't think there was a severe lockdown there. There were in other parts of Australia, but in that state, I think they were okay.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing about COVID. You don't have to have a lockdown for someone to get it. And then that could affect your whole family. And I don't mean like affect your whole family in that like everyone gets COVID. But if, let's say, one of their wives got it, they're deathly, you're taking care of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like, that's the thing. Like, you don't have to have lockdowns. It just takes one person in your family. And again, I'm not saying COVID is the reason, by the way. It just, that is, we saw so many other games get delayed because of COVID. I kind of just feel like, hey, this game might have got delayed too. It's okay.
I think what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't think there were many cases of COVID in Adelaide, as far as I can recall. Yeah. I mean, maybe it did play a part. I mean, Jason Schreier might ask, or I'll ask at some point.
I think more likely,
maybe if they choose to answer.
I think the reason why it took so long is they were busy playing Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3 last year.
What if they were just lazy? There's 3 of them. Who's holding them
They're
accountable?
gamers, man. There's been a lot of great releases lately. With a team of 3, Switch 2 drops. You think they're working on Hollow Knight Silksong?
You know what I think it's like? Great, because this is a small project, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how, like, you ever see like those really cool, like a really cool video on YouTube that's like an animated thing? Like, have you guys seen Starter Squad?
Mm-mm.
No one's seen Starter Squad, like the Pokemon.
No.
Yeah, YouTube search Starter Squad. You're in for a great 45 minutes. But it has a huge following. But it's made by one person. And they only come out with an episode like every 2 or 3 years. And everyone's like every day, like waiting for an update. But it's a one-person job. And they did an amazing job, but it was a one-person job. And it may be as simple as that. I don't know. But I'll say this, since I feel like thinking about it a little bit more. The wait, I feel like, is going to help the game. I feel like people talk about Silksong because of how long it's taken.
True.
It can be a double-edged sword.
Yes, but I think in this case, because it's an indie title, it's going to work in its favor. It's not like, a huge AAA developer getting stuck in development hell due to whatever sort of incompetent, management issues. This is just a small team dealing with whatever life has thrown at them. So I think it's probably going to work in their favor.
I'm expecting a lot of people saying things like, for a game that took so and so long to develop, it sure is more of the same. You know, it doesn't reinvent itself. Nothing new to be found here. You know, like I'm expecting a lot of people to be burnt on the wait time, and I think it's at no fault of Silksong. I haven't played it yet, but I know both Prime and Stash have. Eric, did you play at all by any chance? Yeah,
Yes.
and you guys all had great experiences. You all loved the demo. The first game's great. The combat looks a lot faster and more action packed this time around. I have complete faith in this game. I think it's more just going to be, you know, the sentiment. Like people are really impatient and they want some sort of justification for the wait. Prime.
Okay. Two things. One, I was just curious about the COVID stuff in Adelaide. They did have 2 major breakouts that caused like 6-day and 8-day lockdowns in the whole city. And they also, how they tried to prevent it in the future was they actually locked down their borders and weren't letting people come from other states. But they did technically have 2 major breakouts. They never were in lockdown like the whole US was for, you know, months and months and months and months. But they did have 2 major breakouts anyways. That being said, locking down their borders probably is what's prevented it after that. Can't come in. Sorry. Get the hell out of here. They basically self-isolated. I guess that's probably the way to look at it like that. But to the point of, you know, the sentiment that Gamebird was talking about, you know what's crazy? At E3, there wasn't a line to play Silksong. According to people at Gamescom, it's the largest line of all of the game demos at Nintendo.
That's
That
wild.
That hype.
So I kind of think the opposite has happened. More people have now bought Hollow Knight since then. I think Metroidvanias have gotten even more popular.
Sure.
Yeah, they have.
Recently called one of the best Metroidvania indie games. So I think actually what's happened is it's gotten more popular the longer we've waited. And
FOMO
while
as well.
people that feel a little impatient because they've been waiting for so long, I think it's actually going to explode right out the gate.
Yeah.
Especially because it's all still on Switch, by the way. That's a key component. And I know it's multi-platform, but still, it sold the most on Switch, the original. You know, it'd be cool if it would just be, Switch 2 only, but no, like, you got to care about sales. It's on Switch as well, just in case people forget, because the Switch 2 version is being pushed. It is releasing on Switch the same day. So, well, we don't know release dates yet. I guess I can't say that, but
Yeah. I mean, I think the game's going to do really well. I think there's a lot of excitement. I worry about the sentiment past release when people have gotten to, you know, spend a lot of time. And again, my worry is not that the game's not going to be good. I think it's going to be great. People also have a tendency to put certain companies on a pedestal.
Mhm.
And like
living up to the hype is going to be hard to do.
You have to ask, outside of Hollow Knight, what other releases do they have under their belt to qualify them to put them on this pet? Like, everything they touches gold.
Mhm.
Have they made anything other than Hollow Knight that I'm not familiar with?
No, Hollow Knight was the first game.
So there you go.
But they've had faith in them because they're making just another one of those.
I think of the team that made they made Limbo. Amazing indie game. And then they did Inside. Amazing. And then I forget the name of the third game that people were so hyped for, and it reviewed really poorly. But I forget what it was called. It came out after Limbo.
I didn't even know they did a third one.
Yeah, haven't a lot of the devs left of that original?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. But
So-
I'm just saying, like, putting on a pedestal, things could change. And again, I'm not saying that this game won't be amazing. I do think it's going to be amazing. I'm just saying we got to be careful about putting, especially like an indie studio, like, temper your expectations. It's an indie game. Expect an amazing indie game.
Go the other way. Go the other way with this game, because all those reasons you talked about are definitely true. You get all this faith in the studio and they let you down. We see this all the time with AAA studios. You definitely see it with indie studios, especially as indie studios grow. This indie studio didn't grow. It's the exact same people that made the original.
Sure.
Right.
So, like, my thing is, it's never going to live up to the expectations some people have put it on. They expect this to be the greatest Metroidvania of all time. It probably won't be that. It might, but it probably won't. That being said, I don't think anyone's worried that this isn't going to be a very, very good game.
Right.
Just because there's been no turnover and it's the same people who made the first. And literally, that's the only game they've made. They sure as hell did a really damn good job for their first crack at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely. Eric, what are your thoughts?
if we get a different kind of game, then you don't know. That's an unknown.
My thoughts, been there, played that. It'd be interesting to see the side-by-side comparisons of the footage and stuff like that. See, if it looks any better, if it runs any smoother, that type of stuff. That's going to be the interesting part of it for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I say been there, played that, it's the demo. Obviously, I haven't played the game, but
yeah. No, you guys all made really good points. Metroidvania is one of my favorite genres. I've been saying this the last few years. I'm not sure why it's not recognized at the Game Awards. Because if you look at the amount of Metroidvanias that are developed each year, especially if you look towards PC Steam, it's really blown up there. And when they do really good there, that's when they make their way over to console, right? Very often. So I'm very excited for it. I have no concerns whatsoever about this game. I'll be there day one alongside, I'm sure, all of you guys. Very excited for it. All right. So let's jump into the next one. And this one's not as positive, guys. Now, look, I made a joke a few episodes ago. You guys might remember this joke. I know I got a lot, but you might remember this one. And I was saying that I really hope this isn't the tarnished edition.
Yes.
I hope they didn't name it as such. Okay. And so far, people are running with that joke now, from what I've been seeing. Okay. First off, let's start at the top. Nobody's allowed to show footage. Nobody. All you can get is people discussing their gameplay. So Nintendo Life, they did have a video on it, and we're able to discuss how it ran, and I believe it was Felix as well who got to play it. And look, man, Nintendo Life, for the most part, I think they're a pretty positive bunch, and they don't get held up by too many of the small things. And so when Felix explains it the way he did, I know that it was pretty bad. He was saying that, like, when you go through the doors, right, when you start the game, right, and the open world, you see the actual open world, it opens up. He thought maybe it was like between 10 to 20 frames per second. He said it felt like playing Ocarina of Time on N64.
Epic.
Yeah, and he went into good detail on it, okay? Obviously, between what he had said and between the fact that they're not allowing any footage, which, again, this is interesting to me because this is going to be playable, at PAX as well. And so I got to ask, I guess, why would you put a product like this out there if the game's not ready? But based on the discussions had at Gamescom is that the game will be improved, right? That's what I had read, that the game will be better when it comes out. But when is it coming out? And so, I went back and just double checked the Switch 2 Direct. I just fast forwarded through it.
2025.
Just to double check. I'm like, maybe I forgot. There's been a lot going on this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, it's 2025. I'm like, okay. I mean, things can change. We all know that. But still, as of right now, it's 2025. So I got to ask, it's August 20th. It's out there for demo. What do you guys think about this news? Now, the other thing I'll throw in there real quick is if you did play Elden Ring at launch on PlayStation, which I played it at launch from Software games, sometimes they're a little rough. And it takes a couple of patches to get things running smoother. And it did with that game. I think I played it over 200 hours. I ended up getting the platinum on the game. but I played it over a course of several months. So I was able to see where it was on the first patch and then see where it was a patch or two down the road. And yeah, it did feel considerably better. So thoughts on that, Action Jack? Let's go ahead and start with you first, man.
We got to add him back
Is
in.
he on there?
There we go.
Oh, no, he's out. Never mind. He's taking himself.
There he is.
Oh, he's in.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
all
had to
right.
switch to mobile hotspot because Wi-Fi is going.
All
in and out.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I was surprised to hear that they would showcase it in that condition. Now, granted, you couldn't show any video, which was interesting in itself. But like you said, I was there day one with Elden Ring, and it didn't work very well for me. I had it on the Series X, but with updates over time, it kind of smoothed itself out. But to even showcase it and still claim 2025 is very interesting to me. With anything, there are some developers that don't mind sending their games out there with tons of bugs and just update them and fix them over time. And I feel like From Software, is it From Software or Bandai? I forgot.
Both.
Both?
Mm.
Okay. So they don't mind sending this out there as is. And sometimes it gives off the wrong impression that you don't necessarily care for the Switch, because that's what I see a lot of the communication of. Okay, they're just sending it out there just because, and not giving too much attention or love to the Switch. But as one of the first launch window games out there, you should put your best foot forward, especially if we're talking about the. This is also coming with the DLC of the Tarnished Edition. So hopefully, whenever they give us a date, it is cleaned up. I can foresee it getting pushed to next year. It's kind of crowded as is, even though we don't have release dates for everything. If we remember back to the Direct, almost everything had 2025 on it, other than the one game for 2026 that we were going to get, Dustbloods. But yeah, I if it's as bad as everyone was saying, going down to like 15 to almost 20 frames per second, the moment you got into the open world, that might need to be pushed.
Yeah, so one thing I want to throw out there too, that is the first thing I thought of when they said they don't want anyone showing the footage, which was like, the positive thought of it, in that this is not representative of the final product, which is why we don't want to show the footage. And as we know, when it comes to demos, a lot of times those have to be prepared months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go back to like when I was at the Switch 2 experience playing Cyberpunk, right? And taking gameplay footage of that. Very similar in that what I played at the Switch 2 experience versus what actually came out was much better. And even though what I played at Switch 2 experience was good. But again, it all goes back to that demo was not representative of what they were working on right now today in the office. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have this prepared plenty of time in advance. So that is one, I think, kind of silver lining, right? In that maybe that's why. Maybe they don't want people to see it right now because, hey, dude, this isn't what it's going to look like. Like, if you saw what was running in the office right now, it would be completely different. But we don't have time to do that because we're trying to get the game out the door by 2025.
I guess
that would
the
be my
question is,
hope.
why even show the demo?
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
That is the question,
Exactly.
right? Then why?
Oh, it's obvious, because when they showed the game, right, they teased it. It didn't look like it was running well. You don't have a public demo. People assume you're hiding the fact that it's running like shit.
So then just show it running like shit instead.
No, because some people are going to go hands-on and not mind it.
Well,
It
look,
happens every time.
we're going
It
to play it
happens
next
literally
week.
every time. Like,
We'll find out.
Think of
Yeah,
someone
we'll find out.
There's like these games that perform like shit on Switch, and I hear from people that play it all the time. Doesn't bother me. It's actually fine.
I will say that I find that most people are way too anal about frame rate. I think the complaints of frame rate in Donkey Kong are greatly exaggerated. And don't get me wrong, I see them. I got good eyes.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's
they're definitely.
Well, hold on.
exaggerated.
There's a big difference between dropping from 30 frames per second to 20 frames per second than 60 frames per second to like 20 frames per second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's a lot more like, whoa, okay, this
Jarring, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more jarring. because I was heavily critical of Donkey Kong Bonanza's frame rate.
Okay.
Because it was very, very jarring. And there were a couple of instances, mostly with Void Kong, where it felt like it was like
with the
15
walls, right? You see it in the walls.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it like I died so many times because it's just like a sudden jarring nature to it. There were other issues as well, but like
I just
obviously
thought
not
I
everybody
sucked
had
during that fight.
What's that?
I just thought I sucked during that fight because I died a lot too.
Yeah, no, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a frame rate thing because you've got like this fluid movement, and then all of a sudden it starts lagging and like
Hard to predict.
Yeah, and especially with everything that's going on in that boss fight, like you need to be able to make quick decisions, right? And when you're thinking about that, it just messes up the whole vibe, man.
Well, the comparison I would go with too, in Prime, you will probably know just as well as I do. Sports games now, you'll get the visuals probably like the week before. And Madden, we didn't see anything until like that last direct. And I'm fine with it. Like I purchased the game, it runs smooth within game, and then it has its typical Madden hiccups. Like if you're familiar with it, you know what's up. But we have, if you get the early release, 2K comes out in what, a week?
We don't get the early release on Switch too.
Right. But even then with
sucks.
2K, it's at the top of next month, and we have not seen any Switch gameplay of that game at
September
all.
5th, yeah.
And I got a feeling they'll just drop it without any visual.
I'm concerned. Like I'd be lying if I said I'm not actually concerned about that game because I've been playing 2K since '99 on Dreamcast. I've
Me
never
too.
missed a year. I'm very excited. I love basketball, so it's concerning, but at the same time, they said it's going to be the Gen 9 on Switch 2. And the only other thing that gives me hope, right, is how good they did with WWE, but that was Shiver.
Yeah. Shiver.
So is Shiver handling it?
So I also want to note something that also concerns me about this version of the game is Madden. It's got its issues. It's fine. It's perfectly playable. But, it's like half the frame rate of the other version. So there's no crossplay because you are at literally a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So they just won't let crossplay happen. There's no crossplay with NBA 2K26 on Switch 2 either.
Saw that
coming. So that's like clearly it's not just about it visually looking worse. That's fine. It can visually look worse and you can be perfectly competitive. It's about how it runs. Is it still 30 FPS?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the question. And hopefully Shiver helps. But, like I said, with the Elden Ring situation, they could perfectly wait until it's time to come out and we won't see or hear anything from this game. And that's what worries me too, especially if we're talking about getting a new crowd that's only stayed on Nintendo. There's
also another theory I have with this game is, they don't want people recording footage and really showing that it's running like crap. They literally stop you from doing it when you try. But what if the game's being delayed?
Yeah.
That literally actually be what's going on. Like maybe the Switch 2 version, because I know this version is coming to other systems. The Switch 2 version, or maybe the whole thing could be like, hey, we just want to see what people think about the state of the game at the moment. That's why we're putting the demo out there. It's kind of like a play test, but we don't want anyone actually putting footage of it out, because think about how many times you have a private play test, but the footage gets out, right? There's another way to kind of do that without the footage actually getting out. We're stopping. Someone's going to sneak something. It happens every time, but it's not going to be as widespread as it would be if it would have been like, a private beta that you play at home, right? So it could just be that they haven't announced it yet, but maybe it's getting bumped to 2026, and that could be something that maybe gets announced in the next direct or something. Like they show a more modern version that's maybe running like the best they can make this small little section run, and then they're like, hey, we need more time. We're gonna do this early 2026 or whatever. Because I that's the thing. Like From Software games always do tend to have like a little hiccups and issues. Like it had running problems at launch on all platforms that it originally launched on. They did release those patches, but it wasn't like this. Like
it wasn't to the same degree.
From the way that people are talking about it, and when you go look at the original footage, I mean, it's almost like it's never hitting the target frame rate ever. Like there were people were describing it like in the opening area. There's like this fog section. The moment the fog rolled in, the game just like just huge started chugging. It's like, okay, well that's a huge. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of that in Elden Ring. And then they said like the boss fight was like just the frame rate was just all over the place, like we were talking about with DK, like the Void Kong thing. Again, don't want to get too many spoilers, but that's like one of the fights that really chugs. It was doing that on like the first boss in Elden Ring, and the bosses get far more complex than that. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, this game still needs, like, that's not, a lot of people would be very mad if they bought that and this was the experience they had at launch. Like, they got to get that under control. And maybe it is, as Sash noted, you know, maybe the current version is more under control and it's still on target for 2025. But then that always brings the question, as we were saying, like, why have the demo? Like, you have a demo, you don't want people recording, it's still coming out this year because it plays like crap. Okay, that is weird because you could have just not had the demo and just dropped the game, and then word of mouth would have told you, or reviews would have told you that it's running fine. So, it's, man, I don't really know what the strategy is here. You know, I came up with those reasons, like the possibility of like a sort of a public-private beta test sort of thing, but like it's weird.
Game development is complicated.
Yeah.
Is your answer.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really, what are they doing? It's a weird thing, but
yeah, it's
more
definitely
people play it at PAX now too. So it's like, yeah,
Hey, but at
It's
least 7
definitely-
Remake is running well, right?
Yeah, we'll
Sounds
get
like
into
it,
that
yeah.
in a second.
Yeah.
Gamer, what are you trying to say?
I was gonna say it's definitely not the story you want to hear. I'm a huge FromSoft fan, and for me, it's what like the Souls, the FromSoft Souls. I know there's a million Souls-like games out there, but the FromSoft games in particular, I'll categorize them just as the Souls franchise for simplicity. It's probably my second or third favorite franchise of all time. Next to Zelda. I love these games, and for me, Elden Ring was one of my favorite games of the last decade. I just adore that game. So this isn't the story that I want to hear. Knowing that we're going to get a complete edition with the DLC on a hybrid Nintendo platform is really exciting for me. So this is one that I've been really looking forward to double dip in, one that I'm looking forward to get my hands on at PAX. Hearing this is definitely disheartening, and I'm really praying that this is one that bleeds into 2026. And if it needs to not be early, if it needs to be,
I think it has to come
late
out this
summer,
year.
So be it. I don't want it. If it's like this, I hope not. I hope.
Well, I'm
that's
just
not
saying
the
because
case.
you have Dustbloods coming up, and that I mean, do you really want them in?
Well,
that
they're
close
different
proximity?
games though. They're different games because Dustbloods is an online multiplayer PvP game. So it's it's FromSoft. It has that Souls-like.
All right. So my opinion on this is that Dustbloods and Elden Ring are be more similar than Kirby Air Ride and Mario Kart World.
We'll find out when we get. I mean, Dustbloods. I don't want to go on a tangent. I was so unbelievably hyped when we got a FromSoft Souls-like exclusive announced for Switch 2. I was like, holy hell!
I don't think that's gonna
and
have
then-
any really. It's probably gonna have some issues just because in general,
Sure.
But I think it's probably gonna be fine. Dustbloods, right?
Yeah, I'm more from like the perspective of my own personal taste. I don't really play too many games as service or multiplayer PvP games. It's just not my thing.
I was just talking about
prefer
performance
doing-
and like
Sure.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
hype is a little bit lower until we see more of that game and understand what it is. But
Okay.
I agree. I think I expect that game to perform better. Obviously, it's being designed from the ground up for the Switch 2. But Elden Ring, I mean, this is one that you want to see succeed. Again, this is a game that, one of the highest reviewed games out there. A phenomenal achievement from Software. You don't want to see a stain on that legacy. So I hope they work out the kinks. I hope when this is something that ends up on the store shelves or the digital store shelves, it's
Forgive me for continuing to be the contrarian here, but I just want to say that I don't know, like the Soulsborne games, like if you go back, like they've been like it's kind of part of their shtick, like not being totally like like
Sure.
Demon Souls
Oh
was,
yeah.
like, the original.
Demon Souls
was-
has some rough performances. Same with Dark Souls
Mhm.
1 and 2. I think there was big improvements with 3 and Bloodborne for sure.
As it's
But
become
yeah,
more mainstream.
I mean, From Software, they get knocked for their visual fidelity. I personally feel like they're a company that's more about art style and unbelievable art, like character design and world design, as opposed to pushing the graphical fidelity boundaries. Although that Blue Point remake of Demon Souls is very, very pretty. But yeah, it's just one that it sounds like Sash said, it sounds like from this preview it's a lot worse than what we've seen from some of the performance issues that are standard at launch for some of the Souls games.
Yeah.
So
We'll need to see for ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like again, everyone kind of deals with frame drops, performance, all of that differently.
Sure.
Some people won't play a game because it doesn't have good graphics.
Yeah.
It could be an amazing
Yeah.
game, right? And we see it all the time.
one's
And that
wild
varies
to
by
me.
generation too and age, right? Like an NES game to a teenager today is like black and white TV, maybe to us when we were
or
growing up.
or silent films.
Yeah. You don't know, right? You just don't know because you're not walking in their shoes, so we don't know. But everyone's different. It's all gonna be different for us, subjective. So yeah, we'll play it, we'll find out. Eric, you
Right.
got any thoughts on Elden Ring?
I was gonna say, like the idiot myself is, do we think that this had anything to do with FromSoft not having dev kits? But considering they're making a game
Exclusive.
specifically for Nintendo, they probably did.
They actually that's what started us as a Switch 1 title. They've been working on it for a while.
Yeah,
So
but I mean dev kit for Switch too. So I mean with this, being able to
Yeah.
actually, work on, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition for the Switch specifically, or Switch 2 specifically, I should say.
Hmm.
Just because I don't know how many teams they have there, but just because
Sure.
Dark Bloods did have one, doesn't mean the rest of the teams have one.
But do we know who's porting the game? Did we talk about that? I missed it.
what?
Like who's the studio porting
Elden
the game?
Ring.
'Cause-
Elden Ring? I don't know.
yeah.
Could be FromSoft. I don't know if it
Yeah,
is or
well, I mean, the thing is, like, I would assume it's not it's not a main team. It might be like outsourced.
it could be. Yeah. And at that point is the dev kit a possibility? They got the majority of it figured out, but they still need to work some kinks out because new system. I
Yeah.
don't know.
2026 is the year of third-party support.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just telling you that now. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been announced that will be announced.
So you want to
For
get
sure.
out now,
That makes
so that
sense.
way you don't get lost in the weeds. Yeah, I can imagine.
believe that.
I will say I was hoping for last point from me on Elden Ring. I was hoping for them to do kind of like what they did for Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch, where maybe they drop a
Sure.
Master Sword drop or a Hylian shield drop in the game, just to pay nod to Nintendo with the cool Souls style lore description on the item, how they do with all their items,
Yeah.
whether it's
We've talked
consumable
about that a
or
ton.
weapon.
That's what
Yeah,
we hope to see. It's very logical.
yeah.
It's also very logical
So-
to do it next year for the 40th.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, right now, I guess we're just hoping it runs well when it comes
Yeah.
out.
So
Yeah.
get that point out the way first, and then
Yeah, we'll play it by ear. I feel pretty good about it that they'll get it together. But if they
I
don't,
feel pretty good about you.
I just don't double dip. Hey, I already played it. I already beat it. I put my time in.
yeah.
I would revisit it though if it ran great in handheld, but if it doesn't, cross that bridge. Okay, so let's talk about something a little bit more positive now. That's Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. So we have seen gameplay footage of that.
Mhm.
Again, I don't know about you guys. This is a game that I've played right when it came out. So I've played it on PS4. I've played it on PS5, and absolutely adore the Final Fantasy VII. Sure, you guys do as well. Have you seen some of the gameplay? Have we
Yep.
all seen it today?
Mhm.
Some of the okay. Overall, it seems to be running really well. The only thing I heard is that, yeah, maybe the visuals aren't as sharp. And I did hear a little bit about Cloud's hair. I don't know if you guys heard that
Yeah.
as well, that maybe the hair,
Mhm.
again, I don't know how big of a deal Cloud's hair is going to be to everybody, right? It's going to affect everyone differently how his hair looks.
It'll be a big
I
deal
know
to someone.
it's funny, and I am kind of making light of it because to me, right? Yeah, it's not a big deal, but to other people it might be a big deal, right? So I guess we'll kind of see how that goes. But overall, I thought it looked really good. I think it looks playable, more than playable. Obviously, it looks like it did on PS4. Maybe it's going to run a little bit better again because this isn't the final version. So I'll let you kick this off, Action Jack. What are your thoughts on it? Have you played this before, and are you planning on double dipping?
So for me, I have not played remake or integrate, so I haven't played either or. I have a cousin that has invested hundreds of hours into it, so I've kind of watched from the sidelines of him playing it. Because initially my plan was to wait until all three dropped, and then I realized how slow that was going to be. So I was like, okay, well, it's time for me to actually jump in and start playing the game. So why not start here? From the gameplay I saw same thing. You know, people saying that they enjoyed what they played in the handheld mode, which is awesome because that's where you kind of want to see it from first. Handheld, and assuming Doc would do better. Same hair comments. I'm not staring at the hair that long. I honestly do not care. As long as the combat smooth, as long as it's on par with the PlayStation version, to where I have all the content here. It doesn't affect me in combat, then everything is fine with me. This is something I don't mind investing time in. There's only a handful of games that I will raise my hand to give tons of hours to, and I would definitely do Final Fantasy 7 as well. Now, granted, 10 is my favorite, but I really enjoy and like what I see with this game. And from what we're hearing, we're going to get everything, all the other releases as well. So it's not like I'm investing here on the Switch with not receiving the rest down the line. So it's not me just buying just because I know I'm investing in the entire series. So I enjoy what I see. I want to see some doc footage for sure. I just haven't run into any. Everything's been handheld. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game, and hopefully we get a release date sometime soon.
Yeah, I agree with you on all those points. And again, you mentioned the bit about the gameplay as long as the combat's smooth. And I think that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect the gameplay and make it worse and take you out of that immersion, that's what really matters here.
Right.
Kiwi, what are your thoughts?
I don't really have much, man. I've never played a Final Fantasy game ever. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm not a big JRPG guy. I think it's cool for Final Fantasy fans that want to play it on a handheld, but like I don't really have much to say. The only thing that I like about Final Fantasy are the soundtracks. They're amazing. But besides from that, I've never played a single one. And the idea of playing one just seems very daunting now because they are so big and so large that
because it wasn't
like
the Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and the thing is,
there was a lot more after.
Yeah, there's like three. There's going to be 3 games. So what? That's like 300 hours. And the idea of it is just like, oh my god. So yeah, I don't have much of a comment, unfortunately.
I spent I think about 250 or 275, I forget, in Rebirth. Yeah,
Oh my
so
God,
just
man.
to give you an idea. I know. Hey, look, I'll tell you what. This is not something I normally do. It's not. It's not. I don't put that kind of hours into games outside of what 2K.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but as far as your games with beginnings and ends, I don't put that kind of hours into it. But it's Final Fantasy is different when it comes to that for me. Andres, where are you at on this? Did you play it on PlayStation?
I did.
Okay, thought you did.
So my opinion is, Nate, what are you eating?
The beef stick.
Meat stick?
Beef
Stick.
Did you get out of a vending machine?
It looks good.
No, it's from a local place.
Yeah.
I'll join you.
Well, not counting the beef. I mean, I don't. I didn't finish 7 Remake on PlayStation. Maybe I would give it another whirl on Switch too if it's running well. You mentioned that there's like an issue with it. I haven't seen the latest gameplay, so I don't know. I would want to see the hair because that does matter to me. Gonna be real. I'm not saying like I'm a big like stickler, but like I've seen games where the hair looks kind of weird. It's like, and it definitely takes away from my immersion. Like it's just one of, like, it's like when you're watching a movie. If you have to stop to think about it, if you're taken away from the experience, it's a problem. So
Exactly why I don't like subtitles on foreign films. This is what it is. I have to stop. I literally have to pause multiple times to read.
you just gotta get used to it. Watch more anime.
No, that's why I don't watch anime.
By the way, it's probably why a lot of people hated the Kirby Air Riders Direct. And I didn't even realize it because it was all. Because I'm used to it, right? Because I watch anime a lot, right? Like I watched the whole thing and never dawned on me once, and then afterwards I hear people complaining about like, oh, I guess there was no English like narration at all, which they normally do. So that was an odd choice. Anyway, yeah. So I just hope that whatever they do, the game it maintains immersion. And so in that regard, graphics do matter. So performance too. So yeah.
Fair. Are you gonna double dip? Or are you gonna wait to see how it performs?
It's unlikely that I'll double dip. We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, I could just play my PS5, so I don't. Yeah. I probably not.
Okay. Not even for the historical part of it. Final Fantasy VII finally making its way to a Nintendo console after everything that's happened.
So
maybe on a sale down the road.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I've double dipped before. I've double dipped on Dragon Ball Fighters, for example. So
yeah, I did the same thing. I regret that.
I don't double dip as much either. The economy, obviously.
Yeah.
Same thing for everyone.
The thing is, it had such a huge deal on Switch with all the DLC included, and I had forgotten about the DLC. So that's what encouraged the double dip. It's like, hey, I could get it all like for this price. So I went for it.
Gotcha.
Makes sense. Primal Rage. What are your thoughts? And also, what are your thoughts on the game for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis?
Never played it back then. Just kidding. It wasn't on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Why are we bringing that even up?
Primal Rage?
Oh, well, I didn't think we were actually talking about the real game. We're talking about Final Fantasy. What are we doing?
Yeah, we are. I don't really want to hear about Primal Rage.
Oh, I was looking up like a new Primal Rage. I was like, what's going on?
Literally, it's the only fighting game I hate fighting games, but I love that one.
Primal Rage, really?
Love Primal Rage.
Oh,
wow,
man.
That is super. I'm super.
It was very hyped back in the day.
That's a first.
Yeah, but it fell flat. I remember it like it was yesterday.
I like things that other people don't. So, like, I like the '93 Mario movie, right?
Well, I do too.
Wow,
and I like Zelda too, and you like Zelda too.
I love Zelda too. Like, yeah, is what it is.
Yeah.
So my case probably isn't going to fit with maybe anyone on this show.
This game looks cool as hell, though. Just saying.
It is, dude. It is really cool.
Yeah. They need.
Hey, just a heads up. I'll probably have to gap it in about half an hour.
Bro, let's talk about Metroid.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's jump over to that. Back. We can jump after. Yeah, let's jump right in.
We don't have to. I don't have much to say about that part of it, so you can skip me on this one.
I personally would love to talk about a specific game at Gamescom.
Which one?
That isn't on the list, but one that I'm very excited about.
Well, I added some to my list. For it. So which one?
Huh?
I added some to my own list.
My curiosity is keeping me on, but I should have been gone a while ago.
The brand new guys, we got a brand new third-party game announced for Switch 2 at Opening Night Live. Lego Batman Legacy.
Oh yeah, that looks amazing.
And not only does the game look amazing, but the fact that the last two Rocksteady games, Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights, were major steps down in the games of service department, and we have a Lego Batman game that pays homage to Batman 89. I'm a big Batman fan, by the way. Like, I got my Batman Funkos from 89. I got my comic books, my Batman Year One, The Man Who Laughs, The Long Halloween. I'm a big Batman fan. I picked up Arkham City on Switch 2, and I'm having a blast. But seeing this made my day. It was one of the highlights of the show for me. And IGN put out a 30-minute demo of it, gameplay. I recommend everyone check it out. It blows Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights out the water. It looks fantastic.
All right, so I'm gonna check that out, but I do think I should step out. It's been fun, guys. I will hopefully come on soon. But see you later.
Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you, man.
You too.
Gamebird, how was Arkham on Switch 2 is what I wanted to ask you. Because you had asked me how it runs, and I told you what I had heard. So how is it?
So I'm playing Arkham City, which runs fantastic and looks great on it. Apparently it's Arkham Knight was the one that ran
right.
like
It is Knight.
Yeah.
which I haven't played on Switch 2. Apparently, yes, I was looking into it more. There has been some sort of a patch, but the game has been some of the games have been removed from the eShop. They're not available on the eShop. So I'm not sure what's
It's like
going
Borderlands
on with
3.
that.
You can't buy it. on the
Yeah,
eShop
you
still.
can't even buy it. But I did hear there was a performance patch for people who have the game. Arkham City, though, I'm having a blast playing it. But again, I just want to say, like, this game looks fantastic. It looks so much fun. They got the great lines from it. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts from Batman 89. And I'm a Batman nerd, so like I'm not like crazy on the comic stuff and the superhero stuff, but Batman, I've been a fan since I was a little kid. So
I love it too. I saw them all in the theater.
Yep.
I saw the whole Dark Knight trilogy at midnight at the premiere. And then for the third one, for Dark Knight Rises, the premiere, I got tickets to see all three at the same time. That was when I was living in San Diego. So we went to the IMAX at Mira Mesa.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
I know exactly
right
what you're
next to
talking about.
Islands where I was managing. I was managing that location as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I was there for several hours and it's a fond memory. It really is. That trilogy was just so good, man. So yeah, I'm happy we're getting a game for it.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
And
it's unanimous, the takeaway, right? You see it on Twitter. Anyone who's giving feedback on Gamescom, everyone kind of says, but hey, dude, that Lego Batman looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks good. It's an Arkham game. Watch the 30-minute gameplay demo. It's an Arkham game with Legos and great comedy writing. And it pays homage. I might be in the minority on this. My favorite Batman movie is the most recent. It's The Batman with Pattinson and Colin Farrell. I love how they went full detective noir with that one. And just the way they did the Gotham, where it's kind of comic booky, but it's also kind of grounded in reality. I mean, I love all of them. As bad as Batman and Robin is, I still got some love for the terrible Arnold one-liners and stuff.
It's pure 90s.
So 90s. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. This was a cool announcement. It's an open world Gotham. I wish more people were talking about it. I know there's big ones, I'm sure like indie, that's a really big one that a lot of people are talking about. But this was a new third party. When was the last time we got a good Batman game? It's been a while now.
Well, I think that's the key takeaway. Because the last Batman games were not that great, and then people were kind of burnt out on Lego. So when you put both together, it's kind of easy to dismiss. But looking at it, it looks amazing. It's definitely something that's on my radar. And one thing I've always loved about the Lego games were the comedy. Like they always found a way to make it a hilarious game, but yet stay with the story. So I'm looking forward to it. Especially with this being, I'm assuming it's multi-plat, and just interested to see when in 2026 it releases.
I wonder how much it's going to be.
Me too.
What are they going to charge for Lego games in the climate we're in and the generation we're in? Right? Is this a $70 game? Right. Here's the thing: how much was Lego Skywalker Saga? I think that's all we have to do is answer that question.
Yes,
came out like 2 years ago.
People are comparing it the most to that of all the Lego games, because this one is it's an open world. It's like Arkham City. It's full open world game, but they're making the comparison because it covers the whole history
Yeah.
of Batman cinematic.
It was 60.
60. Okay.
It was 60. The deluxe edition, which had the steel book, was 70, and there was a galactic edition for 80. So
Yeah.
yeah, it should be.
Oof.
It should probably be 60 for the standard
Yeah.
edition. You know, if
I'm
you
cool
want
with that. That's
a couple
win
extra
for me.
Lego pieces, you got to get the 70 probably.
Yeah, game key card. if it
I'm good
comes
with
to Switch
60.
too, Yeah,
We'll go 60.
for sure.
Yeah, I just 70 for the base game would kind of suck, but you will get. I mean, you will get your time.
For sure. Especially
Put a
with
lot of
Lego
hours
games.
into those games.
Now I wish
All
that
right.
we would get a patch for the last Lego Skywalker game, because it was on a hefty sale on
Yeah.
not too long ago, and it just runs the same. So I didn't get
How
that
was-
upgrade.
Yeah, did anyone play Skywalker Saga Lego one? I never played it. I haven't played
did
a
on
Lego game in a
PS5.
long time. I think the last one I played was Lego City Undercover, like way back. So it's been a hot minute. This is the first one to get me like amped. Where I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get
Skywalker
this
Saga is
game.
badass
Mhm.
Nice.
on PS5.
It's quality
Really
good.
Lego game.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very
Then
very.
I have high hopes for this one.
Feels like an evolution of the Lego formula.
That's
Like
cool.
it's definitely evolved. It's not the same game. There's similarities, obviously, but yeah, it's bigger and better for sure. Feels like a
Hell yeah.
next gen Lego. All right, so real quick, I'll just throw these games. I'm going to say them all. FC, so FIFA, look to be running at 30 frames. Borderlands 4. I found one video that I sent to Nate earlier today that was from, I think, Switch Corner on YouTube, which is a channel I follow. And it was interesting. He titled the video as like Hollow Knight and something else. There's no mention in the title of his video for Borderlands. So I'm wondering if like Borderlands might be the same thing, because it's weird that we haven't seen any Switch footage, I think, of the game so far. Like surely there's demand to see it. So it was in his short video clip. There's probably
Mhm.
about 20 seconds of gameplay. And so far that's all we have. Now again, I'm not checking YouTube while we're on the podcast and combing for gameplay footage. So we'll have to see how that looks. Legends ZA. We've seen quite a bit on this already. We're going to be playing it next week.
Mhm.
They played it at the Pokemon Championship, of course, and they're playing it there at Gamescom. And from what we've seen, it looks good. Frame rate looks good. The performance looks good. Again, I'm not going to get caught up in the reflections on the windows or the detail on the windows. Yeah, I'm here for the fun, man. I'm not here to stare at the window. That's just me, okay? Because again, gotta respect everybody. Some people that's really important to. So hey,
I've heard good things.
Yeah,
from people who've gone hands on.
I have too.
Seems like the combat system's a big win.
Yeah,
exactly. Which is
my
awesome.
biggest fear is when we play this at PAX West. I'm gonna say it's a good game and buy it.
That's a fear.
That's a fear. Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, I think you will.
It would be like supporting so many things I'm against right now with what they're doing.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's like,
I think you will.
let's see.
I think you'll get it.
The multiplayer threw me off. I did not expect the 4-player multiplayer to just be this open battle royale fight. I didn't expect it at
that's
all.
the thing. As soon as they showed that, I'm like, oh no.
Oh God, we got to get a podcast Pokey Battle Royale going.
Like the fact you could take out 3 Pokemon at once is just that was amazing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This only excels it even more. I do feel bad for the Switch 1 only crowd because they're not getting any footage. Like they stopped showing Switch 1 footage immediately. So
They didn't want to show off the epic stop motion from Sword and Shield or Scarlet. Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, the only other one was Hades 2. That's there. We're gonna be able to play it, of course, next week. I've seen one video, and again, I don't know who this person is, but they claim it's running at 120 frames.
Yeah.
Don't take that with a grain of salt. I can't verify that,
Yeah.
but I'll try to. We'll try to. I'll definitely ask the questions at PAX, so we'll find out. But obviously, I played this game, and it ran great when I played it. That's a
Okay.
day one for me.
Did you notice any differences when you did play it from Hades 1? Like, what was something that stood out to you, or if there was anything,
As far as the frame rate,
or just the gameplay in general, like
the
to look
gameplay's
something to look forward to?
yeah, the gameplay is way different.
Okay.
The actual the abilities you get in the game,
Mhm.
the boons and all that, completely redone. The combat feels significantly deeper. Graphically speaking, a lot more colors. Like that was one of the games. There's 2 games there that had, to me, it looked like they were taking advantage of the wide color gamut HDR, and I was able to confirm that with Kirby
Okay.
Starcrossed because the colors just pop off the screen. It looks really good. Hades 2 also looked really good. Colors popped, tons of particle effects. I could have played that game for hours. I really enjoy Hades, but obviously that's not something I can do in an event like that.
Right.
But it feels considerably different while staying same enough that if you liked the original, you're gonna love the sequel kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect kind of sequel, I think.
Okay. Nice. I didn't
Yeah.
get far in the first one because there's a certain points I just couldn't make it past. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second one.
No, I remember that. I totally remember when playing this. There's moments like that where I'm like, because that was my first, roguelite, however we want to call it. That was my first experience with it. And so it took a while to understand and grasp how I was going to go about this strategically.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was definitely points in the game where it got really tough. And I'm like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like I'm seriously game planning how to do this.
Sometimes in games like that, you feel like you reached your skill cap.
Yeah.
But you want
even
to
though
push
maybe
through.
you haven't.
Stubbornness.
I don't play too many roguelikes. I definitely had those moments in the first Hades where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat this. And you push through, at least it's the type of roguelike where your character does carry over improvements that are, permanent. It's not just all temporary upgrades. So that helps. But this is something I've experienced with Souls games. Again, one of my favorite series. I remember way back on the PS3 when Demon Souls came out. There's a boss, I believe it's called the Flame Lurker, and I remember back in the day, this was like the OG Souls game. Dying to that boss like 30 times, and I'm like, I hit my skill cap. I just can't beat this boss, and I put the game down for like a year, and then I booted it back up, and I beat it my first time. I took like a year break, and then I beat it, and then I end up playing through the game. But
this is what I love about video games.
You gotta push through.
Yeah, because you do feel like sometimes maybe you did reach your skill gap, but then there's the part of you, and this all depends on like what kind of person you are too. Some people get up and take their ball and go home and walk away and not play it anymore. It just all depends. And I like these games like Hades and the Souls-likes, right? The Elden Rings, the Demon Souls of the world, the games that really challenge you and they beat you up, and then they make me remember that, like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna beat this game. I grew up in the NES era. Okay, I've had the punishment. I remember, and you start to remember that
Mega Man bosses back in the day.
Yeah,
I still suck.
yeah, and you have to like talk yourself into it almost. But it's cool when a game pushes you like that. I really respect that. And the one thing I always circle back to is the lives. You never run out of lives today. You did during the NES era. Today, It's just about you. Do you
Yep.
have the willpower to push through? Because you're never going to run out of lives today. Because they want you to see the credits.
Yeah.
They
Do
have stats
you guys,
on that.
are you guys familiar with the feeling? And it's an incredible feeling. It's like an endorphin rush. You're at a part in a game, whether it's a roguelite, whether it's a Souls-like, or whatever, a game like Mega Man, super tough as nails. You have that one boss or that one part in the game you've tried 100 times and you can't beat it. You finally beat it, and you have like the drenched in sweat hands that are
Yep.
shaking with the
Yeah.
beating heart. You know what I'm talking about?
Celeste was
Like,
meant for me.
man.
and it's so
Yes.
it's such an intense feeling that for like a brief moment, right when you experience, you almost don't even believe it just happened. Like
Yep.
like you have to come to grips with the reality that you just overcame whatever it was. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
100%.
Dude, what a feeling, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
What,
keep
Prime?
I'm trying to keep it PG. You walked into some stuff I was gonna say. I'm like, nope, don't take it. Don't do it.
God.